The sun was shining over the small town of Green Valley. Flags from many countries were hanging in the streets. Brazil, England, Argentina, France, Japan, and many other nations were represented everywhere. The FIFA World Cup had finally arrived. People were excited. Children wore football shirts. Restaurants prepared special meals. Stores sold flags and souvenirs. Hotels were full of tourists. In the center of the town lived a man named Daniel. Daniel was 35 years old. He owned a small bakery called Sunrise Bakery. He loved football, but this year he wanted to understand why the World Cup made people so happy. On the first day of the tournament, Daniel walked through the town square. Thousands of people were there. Some people spoke English, others spoke Spanish, Portuguese, or French. Everyone was smiling. An old man sat on a bench and invited Daniel to sit beside him. "Beautiful, isn't it?" The old man said. "What is beautiful?" Daniel asked. "The World Cup. It brings people together." Daniel looked around and realized it was true. People from different countries were talking, laughing, and taking pictures together. "The World Cup is much more than football," the old man continued. "What do you mean?" Daniel asked. "It teaches lessons about money, friendship, hope, and life." Daniel became curious. That evening, the first match began. The streets were full, restaurants were crowded, taxis moved from one place to another. The city looked alive. The next morning, Daniel opened his bakery and was surprised. Many tourists entered the shop. Some wanted coffee, others wanted bread and cakes. A woman from Canada said, "Your bakery is wonderful." A family from Japan bought several cakes. 2 men from England ordered sandwiches. At the end of the day, Daniel counted the money. His earnings were twice as high as usual. He smiled. For the first time, he understood something important. The World Cup creates opportunities. It helps hotels, restaurants, stores, taxi drivers, and small businesses. The tournament brings money into cities and creates jobs for many people. A young student named Lucas entered the bakery. "I found a temporary job because of the World Cup," he said happily. "Really?" Daniel asked. "Yes. A hotel needed extra workers." Daniel smiled. The World Cup was helping many families. That night, he remembered the words of the old man. It teaches lessons about money. Now he understood. Big opportunities often arrive unexpectedly, but people must be prepared. The football players trained for years before the tournament. They worked every day. They never stopped believing. Daniel thought about his own life. Sometimes he waited for success instead of preparing for it. The next morning, he decided to change. He woke up earlier. He created new products for his bakery. He baked cakes shaped like footballs. He made cookies with the colors of different flags. He prepared special sandwiches called champion sandwiches. People loved the new ideas. Soon, Sunrise Bakery became one of the most popular places in town. Every day, more customers arrived. Daniel hired 2 young workers to help him. For the first time, he became an employer. The World Cup had changed his business, but it was also changing his heart. One afternoon, Daniel returned to the town square. A big screen showed the football match. Thousands of people were watching together. A little boy from Brazil sat beside a girl from Germany. An elderly woman shared food with strangers. 2 men from different countries hugged after a goal. Daniel noticed something special. Football was creating friendship. The old man appeared again. "What do you see?" he asked. "I see people helping each other," Daniel replied. "Exactly," said the old man. "That is the spiritual side of the World Cup." Daniel looked surprised. "Spiritual?" "Yes. Human beings need connection. They need hope. They need joy. They need unity. Daniel looked around. People from many cultures were acting like one family. The old man smiled. The world often has problems. People disagree. Sometimes they fight. But during the World Cup, millions of people remember that we all belong to one human family. Daniel thought deeply. He had never considered football in this way. That evening, he returned home and reflected on his own life. Sometimes he was impatient. Sometimes he worried too much about money. Sometimes he forgot to enjoy simple moments. The World Cup was teaching him something important. Life is not only about work. It is also about relationships. It is about sharing happiness. It is about respecting differences. The next morning, Daniel greeted every customer with a smile. He listened to their stories. He learned about their countries and cultures. Each person taught him something new. Soon, his bakery became more than a business. It became a meeting place. Tourists and local people sat together, drank coffee, and talked. Friendships were born there. One evening, a little boy entered the bakery crying. "What happened?" Daniel asked. "My team lost," the boy answered sadly. Daniel sat beside him. "Do you know something important about football?" he asked. The boy shook his head. "Every team loses sometimes, but I wanted them to win." Daniel smiled. "The important thing is to keep believing." The boy looked at him. "In life, we also lose sometimes. We fail. We make mistakes. But we continue." The boy finally smiled. Daniel realized that he was speaking to himself. Everyone experiences defeats. No one wins every game. The players who become champions are the ones who continue after losing. This lesson was not only about football. It was about life. Days passed. The tournament became more exciting. Some favorite teams were eliminated. Small teams surprised everyone. Again, Daniel learned an important lesson. Never underestimate people. Sometimes the weakest team becomes the strongest. Sometimes the quiet person has the biggest dreams. Sometimes a difficult situation becomes a great opportunity. Hope should never disappear. Finally, the day of the final arrived. The town square was full. Thousands of people gathered together. Some people prayed, others sang. Children waved flags. The atmosphere was magical. When the match ended, one team became the new world champion. The players cried with happiness. The losing team cried with sadness. Then something beautiful happened. The players hugged each other. They exchanged shirts. They respected one another. The old man smiled. "This is the greatest lesson of all." "What lesson?" Daniel asked. "Winning is wonderful, but respect is even more important." Daniel nodded. In life, people often compete. They want more money, better jobs, and bigger houses. But success without kindness means very little. True victory includes gratitude, friendship, and respect. The next morning, the tourists began returning home. The streets became quiet again. The flags disappeared. The town looked normal. But Daniel was different. The World Cup had changed him. He worked harder. He prepared for opportunities. He respected other people. He believed in hope. He enjoyed simple moments. Most importantly, he understood that every person in the world has dreams, fears, and hopes. The World Cup lasted only a few weeks. Its lessons lasted forever. Every morning, when Daniel opened Sunrise Bakery, he remembered these lessons. Work hard and prepare for opportunities. Help others grow. Respect people who are different. Never lose hope. Accept defeats with courage. Celebrate victories with humility. And remember that the world becomes better when people come together. Because football is not only a game, Sometimes it becomes a beautiful teacher of life. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. I hope this story helped you practice your English and reminded you that, just like the World Cup, life is full of opportunities, hope, and lessons. Remember, never stop learning, never stop believing, and never give up on your dreams. If you enjoyed this story, please support our channel. Subscribe, like this video, and share it with a friend who is learning English. Write in the comments, "I will never give up." Thank you for being part of our English learning family. See you in the next story. Keep learning, keep smiling, and keep speaking English. Goodbye, and have a wonderful day.